American History X-cellent is the 17th episode of the 21st season of The Simpsons, directed by Bob Anderson and Mike B. Anderson, and I didn't really love it. It wasn't so much that I was bored, I wouldn't say I hated it, and I probably wouldn't skip it if I was binge watching season 21 again. But there wasn't really anything about it that appealed to me, and it actually started off in a way that I didn't like, because it started off being narrated by Mr. Burns, and I kind of worried the full episode would be like that. Thankfully, it wasn't, but it's not a narrative device that I particularly like, regardless of who's doing the narrating. But it wasn't something I was looking forward to. But it's about how Mr. Burns went to prison because of a work of art that he stole once upon a time, and he meets a prisoner there, and honestly, it's really dull. And I didn't really care for any of it. I didn't think it was fascinating. I wasn't really that bothered about any of it. And then the bit that I found was relatively interesting though was that Smithers obviously had to take over the power plant in his absence, and that was kind of interesting, seeing Smithers in this role of power and how how very differently he approached things, and I rather liked it. And there are some comments there about taking advantage of somebody with a good nature. Because on the one hand, seeing Smithers being nicer and generous to employees is great, but at the same time, if he's let his guard down and is being nice to them, people might take advantage of that. And I think it's a nice balanced discussion, and I think it worked very well. So that bit I didn't mind at all. We also have a subplot with Bart and Lisa and an ant farm. If ever something felt like filler content, it's that. I didn't understand the point of it at all, and I didn't care for it. So that definitely was padding, and I don't think they needed it. I would have liked to have seen more of Smithers and that side of the narrative, and I think that would have meant it was maybe a little bit more interesting, but what we got was mediocre at best. 6.6 out of 10 on IMDb across 1.2 thousand reviews and ratings, so it seems like it's generally well received. I don't really give score ratings, but if I were, I think I'd give it slightly less than that. It's not terrible. I would never choose to watch it, but as I said, I probably wouldn't skip it either. It's very much, for me at least, quite an average episode.